What's going on, everybody? It's Chris from Profoto USA. Happy New Year. Haven't seen you since a couple of weeks ago, and the year changed since then, so Happy New Year, everybody. Today, I want to talk about flash duration. And all flash duration is, and this isn't going to be a super long, drawn-out conversation. I just want it to be out there so if people are looking for a quick video on what flash duration is, this could be it. So flash duration is literally just the amount of time that your flash is on from the moment it ignites to the time that it's off. And a lot of that, and it could be a very long flash duration, it could be a very short flash duration. At Profoto, a lot of our lights have something in it called a freeze mode that can shorten the flash duration. And we're going to talk about T1 and T5, or TO1, TO5 times, because a lot of people are always wondering, what does that even mean, or what's even happening? And we'll go through that. But all your flash duration is, and that's one of the things a lot of people pay attention to, is how fast the flash can actually turn off, especially if you're out there trying to stop action. People who are doing splash photography or action sports or something like that, and you want those crisp edges, you need something with a really fast flash duration. So a lot of times whenever you're messing with flash duration, though, in order to have one thing or the other, you have to give up something. So a lot of the times in order to have really stable color, you usually have a little bit longer of a flash duration, or in able to get a shorter flash duration, you give up a little bit of color, and usually that's because it truncates the end of the flash wave. And so I'm gonna show you kind of what a flash wave looks like. I found a really, really cool one that just happened to have a picture of a D2 next to it from the SLR Lounge guys. So I'm just going to use their picture, and then I'm going to show you kind of a little chart that we have at Profoto for the D2, so you can see the difference between a TO5 time and a T1 time and stuff like that. Oh, and you can also see what it looks like with just in a normal mode. So like I said, when it comes down to what it comes down to, flash duration is literally just the amount of time that your light stays on. Because you're getting a little more color accuracy in a shorter flash duration, at least with us, or not a shorter flash duration, but a little bit longer flash duration, because you're able to get that whole color spectrum in there. A lot of the times what's happening when you're truncating the end is you're chopping off a lot of the warm tones. That's why you can see things in a freeze mode go a little cooler. And that's why a lot of times if you're having an issue with maybe one of your lights is broadcasting a little colder than the other ones, sometimes it's because you actually have one of your flashes in freeze mode and the other one in normal mode, and it's chopping off some of that color spectrum. So, but then once you jump into your freeze modes, you start talking about flash duration times and how quickly the light will actually turn off. And you see most companies will broadcast their TO5 times because it's the sexiest number, and we do it too. It's just there to match what everybody else is doing. But we also have our TO1 times available. The TO5 is literally it's going up, and actually you can go right here on, show you this picture that the guys at SLR Lounge had, which is kind of awesome. So you have your flash pulse going off, and your TO5 time is what happens whenever you get to 50% of your power. It's measuring the speed at which you get to 50% power, essentially. So the problem with that can be is if you're shooting at a relatively high power, let's just say you're at 250 watt seconds, and at half of that power, you're still at 125 watt seconds. That's only a stop of light difference. So you're not actually, you still have a chance that there could be some of that excess light getting into the shot, and you don't have as crisp of edges as you're looking for when you're trying to stop action. So the TO5 numbers can be, even though they're sexy and they're super duper fast, and we have some really, really fast TO5 numbers, really TO1's kind of where you want to really try to pay attention to whenever you're trying to stop action. And so if we look back at the chart, you're going to see that down here you have the TO1 number, or a T1 number. I always say it wonky. T5 and T1. So what T1 is actually the flash duration when your flash pulse is now at 10% of its output. So it's actually measuring more of the spectrum. So the faster a TO1 number can be, the better, because that's going to be most of your usable lights in that, as well as keeping that flash duration really, really short. So if I jump over here to like our D2 flash duration chart, this isn't in something like that the arc that you just saw from that. But if you look here, I mean, and we have the actual numbers posted here. So if you want to see TO5 freeze and TO1 freeze, you have that versus TO5 normal, TO1 normal. So right here, you have them all kind of right here together. And this is why, once again, you can see that those TO5 numbers are really, really sexy, because if you look at the 500 watt D2 here, TO5 at a power level of 1, you're talking 163,000th of a second duration times. Whereas on your TO1, which is, it's more, once again, more of your actual flash power, your speed is at, 13,500 at 1. So it's still really, really fast in the spectrum of what it is you're trying to stop. Because even if you think about it, your camera's shutter can only do 1/8,000th of a second. So you're almost, you're much faster than that right off the jump. So you can still stop a lot of action with that. And that's kind of, the D2s really, really shine in a lot of their speed. Same thing with the Pro 10s. And actually the B10 is actually incredibly fast. And inside the actual manual of the B10, there's actually a flash duration chart inside of it that posts your T5 and your T1 numbers. So you can actually go and look at that and see how fast your actual, your B10 is, which is incredibly fast. But like I said, once again, it's when you're really, really, really trying to stop the action, and one of the other things that flash duration can be really good for is even just really, really sharp images. If someone happens to be, you've taken a picture of somebody and maybe they're moving a little bit, having a faster flash duration is going to be really good, because you're going to be able to stop that motion right then. And you have to remember too, within flash duration, in flash photography, for the most part, your flash becomes your shutter. So you could be in a dark room and set your camera to bulb mode and hold it down for a 30-second exposure. Your shutter essentially at that point is your flash. The moment that it goes off, that's what it's going to stop. And the longer that duration's on, the more of that information it's going to see. So if you shot an arrow past your camera, you're probably going to see the arrow, but you may see a little trail from where the arrow came from, depending on your flash duration. If you could speed it up a lot more and have a much faster flash duration, then you can see it really, really tight. So really basic information. I'm going to see if you guys have any questions or just saying hello to me today. Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy New Year. Jeb, you just click buttons. I do the same thing too, man. I try not to pay too much attention to stuff, but I have to sometimes. Joe, you just got your B10s, man. I'm super stoked for you. I can't wait to see what you're pumping out. I see key shows up in here. So, but like I said, nothing too heavy today. I just wanted to make sure that people who were wondering about flash duration, and another really, really good thing to know too, and it kind of depends on the flash. But some people will, if you need to quickly, if a company hasn't posted up their T1 numbers and you need to quickly see them, a lot of times you can divide by 3. Some of them, some of the other brands, depending on how much they're conflating it, you might have to divide by 4. For the most part, though, you divide by 3, it's a good place to really, really get to figuring out what your T1 numbers are from a T5 number. So you can do that. It's not always perfect, but it'll get you close. So hopefully that was some cool information. I'm
just got a question.
Oh, I've got a question for somebody.
Do we ever display the flash duration on the screen of the lights?
Do we? Okay, let's see. Will we ever display the flash duration on the light? I don't know. I mean, as of right now, obviously no. The only flash that I've ever seen that we made that had the duration displayed was the Pro B4 pack. I don't know that it was as much of a requested feature as since then, so it's probably not been something that has even been thought of. Well, I mean, I'm sure not been thought of. We've thought about it. It's probably just more of a thing that it's not been requested, so it's not been a feature that's been added. A lot of the stuff that we build at Profoto is going to be predicated on whether or not the consumer demand is there. And that's everything that we build is based off of that. So from all the roundtable talks that we have with photographers when we're developing these products, all the stuff that you see is consequences of that stuff. So if it's a feature that everyone, when we lay out, whatever forms we lay out for stuff and people go, I don't care about reading that, or yes, I want this. That's kind of how we decide what goes inside of things. That being said, if it's something that's really, really important, rally the troops, holler at us. And a lot of the cool thing too is in a lot of our new stuff like the D2s, the Pro 10s, the B10s, pardon me, sorry, the Pro 10s and stuff like that, they have LCD screens that we can customize. So a lot of times if we need to add a feature or something like that, we can. So anytime that anyone has a feature request, I always push it up. So I'll push up your feature request for that. So, but let's see. What's up, Kevin? Hey, Chris, great to start the year off with this class. Hey, I think it's a kind of a cool one, right? It's like I said, it's not super deep, but it's just a good thing to know whenever you're trying to figure out why you would buy one flash over the other, especially if you're in the business of stopping action, and what makes one thing better than the other. So hopefully that was some cool information. Laura, I will send your request up to the higher ups in Stockholm and let them know that you want to see the duration on your flash. I can't guarantee yes or no, but the more people that request the feature, the more likely is you are to see that feature come to fruition. So hopefully you guys have an awesome weekend. Thank you guys so much. I don't see any other questions in the meantime. So hopefully you guys have an awesome weekend. Let me know if you have any other questions. Drop something in the comment. I'll come back and check it out. And we will see you next Friday. So in the meantime, and just a heads up too, I'm going to be doing a lot more stuff too between Facebook Live and also YouTube Live. So I'm going to expand it out a little bit because I've started to find a lot of people that I talk to on the phone that I try to point them to these videos. They just don't have Facebook pages. So, and a lot of people are searching for YouTube. So if you prefer YouTube, the plan right now is today we're running late due to some technical difficulties, but we're doing Facebook Live Fridays at 1. We're going to be doing YouTube at noon. So YouTube Live at noon on Fridays, Facebook Live at 1 on Fridays. So hopefully I'll see you guys at either of the two places. But thank you guys so much for everything, and we'll see you next week. Peace.